Hey everybody, this is Bash, and I have with me Belcher. We are
Hello.
getting ready to stream a game that occurred this past Sunday in the EU tournament between Cloud9 and Team Solo Mid. And we're just doing this to get a little bit of practice casting. We're still learning, so we'd appreciate any feedback you have. And with that, I think, let me get Twitch chat up. Okay, and we'll go ahead and start. Belcher, you sync to 123?
Yes, I am.
Alright. And let's unpause. So on Cloud9 side, we have a Bastet, a Ra, a Neath, Ao Guang, and an Odin. And on Team Solo Mid, they have chosen a Sun Wukong, an Amuzen Cab, a Hubwa, or Hebo, a Zhongqi, and a Vamana. Looks like we've got some fairly standard builds starting out. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Zalia is Raw for Team Cloud9, choosing to pick up a Bancrofts first, and everybody's just kind of moving out into their lanes.
Yeah, that's been a pretty popular starting item for the solo laners. It gives that little bit of extra sustain in the beginning, and they don't usually rank that up first. They'll probably go into something else, but it gives a little bit of magical power, a little bit of life steal, and just helps them keep everything pushed up and help with the sustain in the early game.
And apparently one of the players had to pause the game at the start of the match, so we're going to have a little bit of a delay while that gets resolved. It only takes a minute for this to pass, if I recall correctly. In the meantime, the only other interesting things I see really are Trixtank opting to take 2 health pots instead of 1 health and 1 mana. I find that kind of interesting. I would typically see people taking 1 of each for the extra sustain. But I'm guessing he's concerned a little bit more about staying alive early than doing damage. We've got Vamana from Team Solo Mid trying to poke up and steal a mid camp here, but gets pushed off by Ao Guang.
Yeah, there's been a lot of early wards placed by TSM, and help get some vision of this early jungle. Make sure no invades, or looking for a nice pick.
Cloud9's put up 1 or 2 also. And it looks like Cloud9 thought about trying to steal mid, but decided against it, so now the fight's on. Actually, on the right, Vamana came back in, and I'm not sure if he got those mid camps or not.
Yeah, he walked in and used Hand of the Gods to secure both of them, and looks like Sanchez got a little carried away, and looked like he had the same idea of jumping over the speed camp wall and securing it, but it looks like they're just going to go to lane.
Now Suntouch is going to go ahead and start off right with the Raw, trying to get a little extra damage in early.
Out of my way, numbnuts!
Mana just go ahead and pushing him out of the way.
It looks like they're going to go back and secure the blue buff.
Meanwhile, in the left lane there, Cloud9's got TSM pushed back pretty close to their tower, actually. Doing quite a little bit of poke here.
Yeah, Musikov has it's like he'll be able to push that wave a little better once they level up a little bit more. That his early game is still just a little bit behind what Neath and Odin can do.
Doesn't quite have that poke until he's got at least all 3 of his abilities. It looks like Cloud9's going to hold him right in the tower here.
Like you said, it's just AMC is one of those that you gotta, once he gets his honey ranked up or swarm ranked up, depending on which way he wants to build, he'll be able to clear that wave much more efficiently than the Neath will once the supports leave.
Looks like we've got a fairly even match in mid, with neither Zhonghui or Ao Kuang pushing too hard, but it looks like Ao Kuang's rotating left to pick up mid, and Half Devil the Odin's come in to assist along with Bastet. Ao Kuang's looking to rotate, but decides not to, comes back into lane. Relatively slow start here, not a whole lot of ganks early. Been seeing a lot of invades and ganks in early game recently. So this is actually kind of a safe start.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just trying to, play it safe, get their farm up, and, look for engagements later.
In the right-hand lane, Raw is forcing Vamana back. He's going to have to Umbrella out. And looks like he's going to try to port back, but Raw's going to go ahead and push ahead with the Divine Light.
Yeah, over in left lane, as soon as Muzenkov hit 5, he threw that stinger out at Neath, and she managed to juke it, but could have spelled trouble if he had managed to hit it.
Odin's coming back in to secure the clear. Both teams staying right about even on level right now. Looks like Team Solo Mid is actually up in experience and gold, though. Ao Kuang has reached level 7 in the mid lane and has decided to port back as Zhonghui also takes his level. And it looks like Bastet's going to come and try to hold mid for a minute. They've actually got a jungle Hebo for Team Solo Mid, and he's looking to pick up the mid Furies. Pushes Bastet out, and it looks like he's going to get him for free, uncontested. Bastet's going to go try to pick up the left, and Odin comes in and gets those. Steals him from TSM, it appeared.
Yeah, he was in a bad spot. Muzenkov, Zhonghui, and Sun Wukong all had him trapped inside the Fury's camp. He managed to jump out right at the last minute, but the Hobwall was sitting in mid lane ready to pick him up and guaranteed an easy kill.
That's leaving Neath alone in the left lane, but she's actually backing out. She's trying to take her blue buff currently.
Oh, there was a great engagement in mid lane. Ao Kuang used his tornadoes to start the damage on Zhonghui, hit him with the Squall, and then immediately followed up with the Spirit's Tempest to chuck just about all of his health. And Zhonghui decided to use his ultimate of Exposed Demons just to try to, save what he could, but he was already down to about 10 health.
Odin just mixed a poke on that Sun Wukong, who managed to port back just in time. Meanwhile, in mid lane, they've pushed all the way up to tower. Bastet's covering the lane for a moment while Ao Kuang ports back. And in right lane, we have Vamana pushing up on Raw pretty hard at the moment. Raw's actually going to chase Vamana into the jungle a little bit, but he decides to back off at the last moment.
Yeah, the Vamana's already got a full Stone of Gaia set up, so it's going to take a lot for Raw to poke him to where he's in, need of needing to go back.
We've got both jungles and both mids here trying to contest the mid Furies, but it looks like Hebo managed to pick him up.
Yep,
Left Furies were also cleared.
Yep. The Sun Wukong managed to grab that, so both mid Furies to TSM and an engagement in the mid lane.
And now Ao Kuang finds himself alone in mid, 3 of TSM on him. He calls forth the dragon, and it's not quite enough to save him. Sun Wukong had the ult to save himself, as Bastet and Odin come to try and clean up, but got there just a little bit too late.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
Alquan just got caught in a bad position. He was way too far up, and 3 members of TSM were there to chase him down under tower and managed to secure the kill.
we've still got even kills for right now. TSM is actually getting ahead in experience by about 2,000 at the moment, 1,000 gold. Locking down those mid-Furies are what's keeping them ahead in that count. Now Kong's going to have to come in and drop tornadoes just to clear out his tower. While in right lane, Raw's pushing forward. And we've got Sun Wukong coming back into left lane. Looking for a gank and gets a little bit of a poke off with his cudgel. Neith's having to backflip away. He's getting chased hard by Sun Wukong, who actually gets caught up in Odin's spear ring. And both teams decide to disengage here for a minute. Actually, Sun Wukong is trying to push forward through the jungle. It looks like he was just trying to get a scout. Now he's heading back towards mid, maybe looking for a gank. Tries to pick up mid Furies, and Alquan casts his dragon right through him. And so Wukong's going to chase Odin all the way back to left lane, with Almuz and Cab trying to do the assist. So now, for about the first time in this game, it looks like TSM's pushing hard on their left lane.
Yeah, this is where Moose and Cobb's lane clear just gets so superior. He can pretty much take out the whole wave with one swarm, and Neith still has to auto attack, shoot out the spirit arrow, and then clean it up the wave.
Meanwhile, in left or right lane, Bastet's managed to help Raw push TSM all the way back to their tower.
And it looks like both junglers are just going to hang out in right lane for a minute.
Hebo manages to push Bastet out of the way, but she comes back in, lands the claws and the non-tails. Hebo is down to low health and is getting pushed out. Raw misses his beam.
Oh, but the Neith ult.
Neith ult is actually blocked by Vamana.
Good play, yeah.
That World Weaver can be sometimes hard to hit.
Yeah, and they could see it was coming from the about 6 seconds of the travel time. Maybe not 6 seconds, but they knew it was coming. Vamana had time to get in position to block the ult, and good play by TSM.
We can actually see here that Cloud9 has dropped a ward in the middle of mid lane up near the tower. I'm not sure if that was a misdrop or if it was intentional. And both mid Furies are back up, with Bastet taking Rot uncontested, and she managed to get back out. And the left, it looks like Alquan was able to tornado them down. I'm not sure if Sun Wukong was able to get in and get the hand of the gods off or not.
Oh, but right lane, Raw's in trouble. Vamana and Hopwa putting pressure, but he's going to make it under tower. But it looks like they're going to turn on this. Bastet's there.
Oh, and Raw gets off his ult, taking out Hopwa.
And that was a good snipe, and it did so much damage.
That's going to force TSM to back off, while Raw and Bastet are actually going to stay in the lane and try to push forward a little. Bastet's running a little bit low on mana here. Raw is about half. Both are pretty much full health, so they're not too worried. But Zhongqi is actually rotating in.
Yeah, but with the wards there, they see him coming, and Bastet was
back out.
Yeah, Bastet was there in case if he decided to come in, but looks like he's just gonna go back to mid lane.
Meanwhile, we've got Odin chasing around Sun Wukong, chasing him towards the mid lane. Looks looks like Sun Wukong was trying to get up for the gank, but it was too well defended by the roaming Odin and the Bastet. Now Kwong's able to hold his lane. You can tell where that big difference in gold and experience is coming into play right here, with Al being a level behind now. Those tornadoes give him such good clear though. He's able to just drop one and then walk away to give an assist somewhere else on the map. And it looks like we're going to have some engagement here with Evo coming in from ultimate, doing his great wave through Al Kwong, taking him out. And TSM was chasing Odin for a minute there, but decides to back off and take Mid Furies. And it looks like we're going to have a Gold Fury attempt here. Half Devil's coming in to try and pick up a steal with Bastet, giving him an assist. They get the separation off, force Zhong Kui back out. Sun Wukong goes up on his cloud, and Odin abuses the his spear ring to block TSM from getting in on that Gold Fury and manages to steal it away from him.
That was a great play. You know, being able to drop those ring of spears, not only is it used, you know, well to keep somebody in, but you can use it to keep people out. And especially if they're getting chased, Odin can drop the spears, catch everybody that would be chasing him, and he can just leap out and leave it standing there for another 3 seconds for them to just watch him walk away.
That actually managed to even up the gold difference pretty closely. They jumped back up to within 300 gold difference. TSM still got the lead with 2,720 experience, but that definitely evened up things a little bit. Looks like we've got everybody returning to lane. Hubwad going to take his damage camp. Mid's looks like Zhong Kui's going to back in mid. And we may have another engagement here in the left-hand lane. We got a little bit of poke coming in from Sun Wukong and Musen. And Sun Wukong keeps trying to play forward here to pick up the gank on Al Kwong, but he's not quite managed to pull it off yet. Oh, and we've got the dragon all. We've got a 3-on-2 here. Odin manages to use his leap to get away. Ra coming in and casting his beam right through the middle of TSM. And it looks like they've actually peeled off Ra, who is trying to get away back to his lane. But Mana goes into his colossal form and just chases him right back with Sun Wukong in tail. On mid lane, Al Kwong is still managing to hold his lane. He's starting to get a little bit low on mana though. Sun Wukong and Hebo have come back up to assist Zhong Kui. And we've got Sun Wukong using his transformation to go into cat form. And Al Kwong manages to blink out. And now we have Sun Devil, or Half Devil. The Odin is trying to hold mid, and he's actually several levels under level at this point, being the lowest level player in the game at only 10. Bastet's going to come in and try to help him. Zhong Kui gets off the card and manages to get the heal off too. And Al Kwong comes back up to push the lane back.
Yeah, it was a good job from Cloud9 being able to hold that tower. You know, I thought Al Kwong was definitely going to die, and then when Odin came in, I thought he was definitely going to die, but they were able to escape, and it looks like they're going to be able to take the right lane tower.
And that's going to be the first tower down in this game. That has put Team Cloud9 ahead by 612 gold, but they're still running in a 3,000 experience deficit, although most of that is actually centered on Half Devils Odin. That's a pretty big deficit, being only level 10, with the highest on your team 17, and the next lowest 13. And actually, we're getting a push on mid tower by Ao Kwong. But he's alone here. And gets pushed off with the assistance of Hubwa and Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong's going to go ahead and back after that. Well, Zhong Kui, nope, he canceled out. We've got Bastet coming in from the side, looking for the engagement.
Yeah, but they have that ward there and saw him the whole way. And as soon as Bastet got out,
She had to pounce right back out again immediately.
Yeah. It looks like the Gold Fury has respawned, and Cloud9's going to try to take it early.
Oh, the TSM's on Mooses coming in, gets off the honey. Half Devil's going to go ahead and throw up the spearing to try and block him off. But Zhong Kui is going to blink right in, get off the cards. With a great Spear's Tempest through from Ao Kwong, but it wasn't quite enough to damage the team.
Oh, but the Raw Snipe is going to secure the Hopwa's
That
death.
Searing Pain just does so much damage. Unfortunately, they're still stuck at a 3v4 here. And Ao Kwong's running really low on health on mana. And that's just going to allow TSM to go ahead and take Mid Furies once again, pretty much uncontested. And this is putting them at an advantage of 4,800 experience, with Cloud9 actually being pretty much with a solid lead of gold of 1,306 over TSM. And Ao Kwong's finally going to get caught unawares. But Sun Wukong's not able to do quite enough damage to do it. Zhong Kui's dot actually ticked off to get the kill. And Bastet's able to pick up Sun Wukong. We've got Hebo coming in. And Odin's able to clear the lane and force TSM out for the moment. Something you'll notice about this level play is both teams are going pretty heavy on the wards, with most players buying wards to displace. Zhong Kui's getting the card off on Odin and forcing him back out of lane. He just can't hold lane against a level 19 Zhong Kui. Odin went to check on the Gold Furies, but got caught by Sun Wukong. Now we're seeing a little bit of a shift in map control as TSM's trying to push further forward on the map on both sides. Even though they've lost that right lane tower, they're still trying to push forward and maintain their grip.
Yeah, and this is about the time that you really need to have that map control. You need to have pressure from all sides. You need to, you may not be winning all of them, but you don't want one to just, roll over. You've got to be able to push everything, keep the jungle in your favor, or at least be able to compete. Because if Cloud9 was able to just, get ahead right now, it would pretty much secure it.
And we've got TSM pushing forward at the left-hand lane, stealing Cloud9's speed buff. We've got a huge engagement here. The Alquan casting Tornado doing a ton of damage. Zonkui having to blink away from Alquan. He manages to pick up the kill on Hubwa. And he's chasing Zonkui back out of lane. He has to blink away. We've got Almusenkab blinking onto Alquan. Forcing up on the rear side of the tower, but Ra's in to try and save him. Picks up the kill with his celestial, or solar blessing, actually.
And that was still a good fight. Yeah, still a good fight in favor of TSM. But looks like Raw is going to be able to kind of keep pressure on
Raw's just getting caught out of position a little bit. And we've got Vamana coming in colossal form, forcing them back away from the mid Furies and into lane. Right now we've slowly got Cloud9 coming back into play.
Yeah, it was a 4-3 fight in favor of TSM. They were able to take the speed buff and managed to get 4 kills, but yeah, not exactly a perfect fight, but still one in their favor.
We've got a little bit of an engagement here. Sun Wukong's looking to pick up a gank on Odin here. While Odin's trying to take mid Furies, he desperately needs that experience. With the help of Alquan, he manages to get it. Now it looks like we've got a little bit of a contest over here for Gold Fury, with TSM pushing forward trying to secure it. Both teams have it warded. Odin trying to force the fight while Neith is back taking her blue. Neith goes back to lane. It looks like TSM's decided to back off the Gold Fury. Sun Wukong looking to get a little bit of poke off on left lane. We've actually got 4 members of TSM in the left side jungle right now. But Sun Wukong decides to port back. Looks like both teams are debating going for this Gold Fury right now, kind of jockeying for position.
Yeah, I think they're just waiting to see who's going to bait the fight out first, because right now with all 5 members on both teams up, it'd be way too risky to try to take it before you at least get a couple kills. But TSM definitely has the ward placement to keep it covered. 2 sentry wards at the top and bottom of the Gold Fury.
Pretty great placement, as you can see from the view on the map. They know Bastette's there, they know she's moving back and forth, they can see Odin coming in now. So they know that there could be a play about to happen, and everybody's starting to close in on it.
Looks like Odin's able to place the sentry ward and take out one of TSM's wards, but it looks like the 2 sentry wards at the top and bottom of Gold Fury are just far enough that you can't see either one.
We've got another engagement here at the mid Furies. TSM forcing Cloud9 back out of the jungle. And they're going to go ahead with that and go for Gold Fury. We got 3 members on it, with Hubwa up there just securing, making sure no one comes in on them. They go ahead and get it off without contest.
Yeah, being able to force out the Odin and Bastet, and Odin's their source of, Hand of the Gods, rank 3, to be able to get the execution. So once they knew he was out of the picture, they were able to go ahead and take it. Still kind of
And
a
we
slow
have
going
Hebo
game,
coming
though.
up to try and pick up the gank on Odin, but he leaps out of the way.
Yeah, 27 minutes, only one tower down. Yeah, there's been, I think, 3 or 4 Gold Fury attempts, but that's really all that's been happening this game. It seems like everybody's trying to play it safe and just keep their farm up. Looks like we're going to have a big team fight here shortly, though.
Speaking of farm, TSM is actually pulling ahead now with a lead of almost 500 gold and about 7,000 experience. So even though they're down a tower, they're actually got the power to just pretty much dominate this map at the moment. There's not a whole lot Cloud9 can do to push back. Even with 3 at 20, their Bastet is still 17, and Odin is still only level 13.
Yeah, I think the best idea for Odin right now is to just walk in between these lanes, drop the ward when you need it, and, you know, just soak up some experience.
He's trying to get the farm on the mid Furies, but every time he's going in, he's just getting pushed right back out. That time, with the help of Alquan, he managed to secure the kill. Most of the action going on in this left lane in the middle. Back in the right, Vimana is slowly but surely just pushing up on Raw, but neither one of them seem to be getting too much of an advantage here. One-on-one, at least. Raw using that Celestial Beam to do a pretty good amount of damage while keeping himself healed with the Solar Blessing. Manages to push Vimana back to tower, and he's going to go ahead and look at the jungle. Meanwhile, back in the left-hand lane, we've actually got a gank going on over here for Neath, with Amuz and Cav and Sun Wukong both chasing him down. Neath backflips out. Her team comes in to try and save her. Sun Wukong sends the Sphere's Tempest through, but does not really do too much damage. We've got most of both teams here now. Both Neath and Alquan going down. Hebo manages to pick up Odin with one of the water spouts, and TSM's just going to go ahead and back rather than trying to push the tower here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the best idea. There was 3 of them there. Raw was in the mid lane. They had the ward coverage over the jungle. They probably could have stayed and secured that tower, but the minions are going to be able to do a lot of damage to it before they would get taken out.
But now they're going for a fire giant push. That's why they decided to just leave that lane. They know they got those kills in, so they've got a good chance right now to just go ahead and take it pretty much uncontested, with Raw being the only member of Cloud9 up to contest. And it looks like he's going to line up for, yep, there goes the Searing Pain, but it was just a little bit too late to get the kill.
Yeah, and even then, you know, Sun Wukong was there with Hand of the Gods 3, gives you the execute at 25% health, and, you know, it would have been, you know, if he had hit the Hand of the Gods early, that may have secured it, but it's hard to, you know, take
Now
something away.
TSM just
They got
decides to
Hand 3.
dive that middle tower after taking the mid Furies. They take out the tower, then manage to go back and clean up the Furies. At this point, they don't really need the farm so much as they're just trying to keep Cloud9 under. Cloud9 looks like they're going to try to orchestrate a push of their own up through the middle, with Raw, Alquan, and Odin pushing. Odin's trying to tank the tower at the moment. Amuz and Cav gets the honey. There goes the Celestial Tempest from Alquan, but it's not enough to save him, as all of TSM is there to go ahead and pick it up. Bastet does not get her pounce off and gets killed. And now TSM is all together. They're just going to go ahead and tank the tower. Zhonghui linking ahead, trying to push minions. The rest of his team managed to take out the tower. Now they're all just pushing straight on into the Phoenix. The Phoenix is down, and it looks like their whole team is going to force forward order here on the Titan. With only 2 members of Cloud9 up and rest out for another 30 seconds, there's not a whole lot they can do here. Odin tries to throw up the Ring of Spears to contain it. Doesn't really do a whole lot. And TSM peeps up the GG right there.
That was a great last engagement. They knew they were bigger, they had the fire giant buff, they just ran them down and took it.
That was a great game. Both teams had a lot of push. For the longest time, it looked like Cloud9 had the better map control, especially with taking the first tower, but they just couldn't keep the farm up to keep their experience and gold high enough to have the power advantage in late game. And part of that was Half Devil's Odin. I think he just roamed a little bit too much and just could not quite get farmed up, with TSM mostly controlling those middle objectives and just pretty much dominating the map. Alright, well, that's our casted game for tonight. All you guys that are watching, appreciate you watching. Be sure to give us some feedback. Love to know how we're doing here, trying to improve. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll go into some games.